you are new, welcome. If you are old, welcome back to Narrative Nebulosa, a podcast where me and my friend talk about crazy story ideas we have and, well, make them stories. Last episode, we talked about two idiotic aliens that came to Earth trying to steal a human for their military government. And today, we're going to expand on that concept, add more to it. So, sit back, get your popcorn, and enjoy the video.
How do you feel about the genre? Sci-fi, action, comedy?
I think it should be I think it's mainly all three. I think it's gonna mainly be a sci-fi comedy, but action is gonna be in there, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so the point of it is people are not watching this. They would go out and watch if they look for action, they wouldn't watch this. They'll watch some Karate Kid or something.
Yeah.
Okay. They're looking for something okay, I want some science fiction. I want to see somebody get shot with a ray gun. I don't know. So, the first thing I wrote was...
Wait, hold 1 second. I will be right back.
Alright, N-word. Don't drink it, I'm drinking. This will make your head explode. Don't drink it. But I'm immune to that, so... Ugh. Tastes weird.
Okay, back in black. Alright, go ahead.
Alright, give me 1 second. I'm writing some down that I just thought of.
Have a massive sex scene between the two.
Alright, so do you want to hear my ideas first, or do you want to hear what I wrote inside your story? Because what I wrote inside your story is more of it's like a script and the lines of what the character may say. It's like a mixture of both. So what do you want to hear first?
Well, the last episode we did was the first episode, so we might as well start it off with, going more in depth, yeah.
Okay, so I copied and pasted, and you said first episode, pilot. They're in a big building. They're lined up in line with a bunch of other aliens. All those aliens have a mission, to fetch different types of humans for research on how their bodies work. Phil and Keegan are paired together. Keegan is obviously disappointed. They get into their mission to Earth. So, this is where I put it. Phil, being the overhyped, annoying idiot he is, starts messing with the ship. Ooh, what's this button do? What's that? This switch is pretty cool. Causing the ship to start malfunctioning due to the swift changes happening. You imbecile! You're like a child who's bored in a car ride, says Keegan. So the camera slowly shows the Phil's face. And he slowly yells, I'm bored! But before he finishes his sentence, Keegan swiftly puts out a combat knife against his throat from behind, breaking his limit. Phil, naive and dumb, but also fearless, but also fearless, he doesn't get phased at all. In fact, he asks, Keegan, who's driving the ship? Then you say, they crash land to a snowy mountain, but also surviving. So then I wrote, see, now look what you did. The ship. No, my ship. My ship is ruined. Phil gets mad and says, your ship? This is our ship. So they start fighting. Keegan, a master martial artist, can easily beat
And
Phil.
then one of them says the N-word.
Shut up. Keegan, a master martial artist, can easily beat Phil, but Phil's stubborn and doesn't give up, and he gets what he wants. He sees a big stick, starts blocking attack and back. Keegan getting beat up by a stick used like a staff, pulls out his combat knife. Keegan walks up slowly to Phil. As he's walking back, realize this could be the end. Until they hear yelling. This yelling distracted them. And then you put seeing a town nearby. They somehow meet a small kid. That's the only two main things I want of more in-depth of character, how they are as a person, what would they react. Now, when I was writing this, I was thinking about it in my head and how I would make this scene. And it's just so tough to me where you put heart and love and everything inside of your character and you make the best of how your character would be. But also trying to make the same amount of energy inside of the second character where it pleases the audience. So Phil, although he's naive and dumb and everything, but he's also fearless, where he's not scared of Keegan. He won't care if he got beat up by him or this and that, or if he gets mad at him to where he thinks that he's about to kill him, this and that. He will still be dumb and move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Keegan's more serious about this. So that's where I went, because you said they somehow meet a small kid, and I explained how they could have met the town. I didn't get more in depth of that. So then I went to my ideas. So I made scenes, plots, character personalities or characteristics and little jokes or something like that. So the first thing I said was, a crappy fast food worker makes fun of Phil for his delivery order. So let's say Phil's let's say he wants to order food, I don't know, and then the people there like, oh, you want a cheeseburger? Of course you want a cheeseburger. Always getting cheeseburgers, yo. And I don't know, they're just making fun of him for his orders. Like, okay, I see how it is. You like nasty Coca-Cola? Of course you do. I don't know. Just something that like, you know, retail workers or fast food workers wouldn't usually do.
Damn, yeah. you want a cheeseburger? Oh, with your corny ass. Why don't you get some fries with that with your boring basic ass?
You're like, oh, what? You want some chicken strips, chicken nuggets with that too? Yeah, basic.
Oh, you want some coffee too? Oh, what do you think this is? Starbucks? White bitch.
Bro, like that's the type of stuff I want to put into it, where we can quote unquote attack specific things. You know, because it's funny. So then I had makeup stuff such as location, character, language, area, planets, food, weapons, whatever. Now the reason why I'm saying is because I also wanted to bring in my ideas, personal ideas that I had, such as my story I had with the first episode of the podcast. I want to add a little bit of that, like the planet name or the alien names, such as I called my planet Sisaloid. And then what are the people there? You wouldn't call them humans, you'll call them Psychians. So we can be like, yeah, these two Psychians are on a mission. You know what I mean? So that's just a thought. Then I said, I
was gonna call it the D's planet.
D's? What's D? Now I'm getting into scenes and plots. So I said, make fun of the in the end he woke up or it was all a dream conclusion. Like, you know those cheesy conclusions where they'd be like, but in the end, it was all a dream. You know what I mean? That's terrible writing, all right? That's terrible. But I wanted to make it where we have that intentionally, but unironically have it as an ending. You know what I mean? But make fun of it. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that would be pretty cool. That's just me. Like a dream. It'd be like, it was all a dream. But then it wasn't the ending of the episode. But we don't know that because it could be another dream, like Dreamception or something, you know?
Oh yeah, it's like
I thought that was pretty cool.
I think I had one of those dreams before where you're like in a dream inside of a dream.
Yes,
and then you wake up from that dream.
Those. So that's what got me the idea of like that. And you ever saw the movie Inception? I think that's what it's called, Inception, with Leonardo DiCaprio. That was a pretty good movie. So I said maybe I thought of this while riding home from work. Maybe an episode where Keegan or Phil time travels into the future and sees Henry or Trevor, whatever we made up. I think I like Henry better as a kid. Henry killing Phil and Keegan and causing a crime spree, but they have to figure out how and why he did it. So the reason why I thought of it because, like, I don't know, maybe character development between the two, or maybe I don't know. That's just something.
So I was like, oh, so it's like a little like a crime thing, you know what I'm saying?
And you have to figure that out. So then I also had an idea of the cheesy doppelganger episode. Like, you know those two episodes, the two people are the same. They'd be like, okay, now we're gonna ask questions of who's the real one. You know,
that's like the Gumball episode. You see that one with their knockoff doppelgangers?
Oh yeah, no, I like that episode. Yeah, and they did everything else, but Anais wasn't inside of it.
Yeah,
I like that one. That was actually really well thought out. I like that.
That's cool. You know, those are actually real characters from a different TV show.
Oh, wasn't it? In Chinese, a Japanese or something like that?
It's a Chinese or Japanese.
Was it intentionally ripped off?
Yes.
Bruh.
Very intentionally.
So there was also one, I was talking to my sister about this, and I thought this is something retarded, but hear me out. The first word, Bozart.
Bozart.
Just listen. It's Mozart, but so I said Phil is a god at playing piano. The piano is also on fire. Amazing music while Keegan watches, and he's just so surprised about how godly this guy can play piano. And he asks, how the hell are you so good? He turns around, he turns his back slowly with an extremely detailed face. Like, you know in SpongeBob when they have detailed faces?
Yeah, like Squidward, like pointing at his face. You see that?
Yes. That one. And then he turns around with a very extreme detail and ugly face. And he says, there's a few things you don't know about me. They used to call me Bozart back in the days. No, I don't know, okay? It's something stupid. But I thought it was funny because Mozart, but Bozart, isn't Mozart like the piano guy or something like that, or the music guy?
The piano guy.
Yes,
he did do the piano, yes.
Okay.
Why'd you call him piano guy?
I don't know.
Pianist is the right word, actually. So please get your grammar correct.
Huh. I actually want to... I want to play the correct cards here. I don't want to end the show so early, like Gravity Falls. Like, Gravity Falls had like 50 episodes per... What was it? 50 episodes? 20 episodes per season? I don't know. It was a very good show, but it ended. Now, if we do have to end something, that's fine. But I would like to create another, thing. But I don't want to necessarily have to end it. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to be like, dang, our show is going nowhere. I guess we should just end it. Because if we're milking this show, people are gonna not like it. And I don't want to milk stuff. Pause. So this is the time where I actually said my idea of the Sisaloid. So that's just what I call them. We don't have to call it that. It's just something that I made up because I want to make up stuff. Making up your own stuff, your own world, everything becomes much easier and more creative. So I said this. Now this is more of a serious thing. I said Keegan hates the Sisaloid planet and their system and society. Keegan talks to Phil about deep things and lore about the Sisaloid military, government, and background of his character. So we start to get more in depth of why he hates the mission he's on. We start to go in depth of why he hates the system, why he's so he has like an expertise at what he does, why he hated the fact that he got such an idiot on his team, which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Wait, that can happen. That can happen in the first episode, and then like Phil can just like hear all that. Like it's like an exposition dump. Like let's say like you can see the words going into one ear and coming out of the other.
No. I'm thinking of that right now, and you just see Phil's face, and he has like, I guess he's drooling or something, and they're just like, huh? Or I don't know.
Or
he's not paying attention.
Or he's like, nice, cool.
Cool.
And it's like, oh, what does this button do? What does this button do?
Actually, that'd be pretty cool. That transition right there, where it's like, okay, we get into a serious detail thing, and then we get to, oh, I'm bored. But now this is actually where this is actually where I added on. This was the same time where I added on the story or the in-depth part of the story pilot episode thing. Let me know your ideas on this. I said Keegan and Phil kidnaps a homeless person, not a kid. But the homeless man who's drunk and beat up freaks out and that he's getting kidnapped and starts panicking. Keegan and Phil trying to keep him unconscious by trying to hit him and keeping him down. They lose grip and control. Somehow buttons and switches are pressed because he's messing with them. Like he's just freaking out, trying to get out of the ship and everything because he's getting kidnapped. And then suddenly a gunshot goes off and makes the adult a kid again. Now, this may be very, overthought about. This may be a very overthought situation, but you know that if a kid goes missing, it's a lot more what's the word? It's a lot more notoriety. Police actually start to go investigating.
Yeah.
But if a homeless man gets kidnapped and no one knows it's homeless man and we can't do anything about it, he's just a guy. He has no identification, then no one's really going to bat an eye. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if we can do something with that, but I just thought it would be a cool thing to where there would be no problems between I don't know.
I mean, like if the homeless man is always extremely drunk all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Or like he's on some type of drugs, then I can see it working because I can still see like him being held out the window. Like, hey, this is fun.
Yeah, like he's stupid. This guy does drugs and he messed up his body, messed up his health. He's stupid, but he's just a kid.
Right, and then fucking, because Phil doesn't think about what he's doing. Like, say they start taking him back to the planet, and they're fucking raggedy ass spaceship, like,
yeah, cause mess up.
Yeah, and then fucking, he's like. And then all of a sudden he sobers up. He's like, oh! Yeah. And then Phil just takes a random gun from the wall on the ship, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what this does." Bow. Makes him a kid.
All right, you know what? Yes. I'll write that down. That's a better scripted scene. It makes more sense. Because that gives you a thing of or background how the kid became a part of the team. Now, maybe that should be the next episode. Maybe. The only reason why I say is because that's a lot of things inside of one episode. You know what I mean? Like,
You kind of want a lot of action in one episode. Like, we don't start off with somehow finding the kid. Instead, we replace the kid with the drunk man. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And we go through the same story, but the ship coming back scene is like, that's when he'll go crazy, like, ah! And maybe that can be like the end of the episode with them like trying to figure out like, how do we? Well, now what we do?
Yeah, because I was thinking. Remember how you said he was hanging him out the window? I thought that scene was so cool. So I wanted to make that add up. I want to make that make sense. So basically, what happens? Keegan's like, Phil, why would you do that? What is wrong with you? And he's like, sorry, I didn't know. I panicked. So then Keegan's like, oh my goodness. So they're sitting face palming for a little bit, or Keegan's sitting face palms like, we can't have a kid. We need a adult. We need a full person. And then that's where he's like, okay, let's just get rid of him then. Then yeah.
Yeah, that'll have to take place on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of it taking place in the ship with the adult messing with the buttons and stuff.
I'm confused.
So like what I was thinking is like we go through the whole same scenes, but the kid is actually the drunk adult. So like everything plays out the exact same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even like the hanging out the window part, he drops the adult, not the kid, and then eventually they take him to the ship, and that's where he like makes him, all that happens. He makes him a kid. As in like, oh man, he's messing with the buttons. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Phil takes a gun, pow, he's a kid now, type stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking.
So you're saying have the scene twice?
No, I'm saying have the scene once, but make the kid an adult.
Okay, so you're saying you want to make the kid adult, not make an adult a kid.
No, as in like what I'm trying to say is like have the scene once, but have it be the adult version of the kid, the adult drunk version of the kid.
Okay.
And then later on, there's a separate scene where Phil makes him a kid on the way back to their planet.
Oh, okay. Are you saying that in the beginning, or when it happens, the scene happens, the adult is an adult, or the kid becomes an adult?
No, the adult is an adult. A drunk homeless man. Yeah, and so instead of finding the kid, they find this drunk homeless man, and so they take him back to like whatever tower on top of the hill that we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
They take him back there, and then the scene plays out like, let's say instead of like Keegan saying we can't take a kid, instead he says like, I don't know if we should take this guy. He seems kind of out there,
unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah, unhealthy out there. And so Phil says, well, why don't we just kill him? And like the whole scene plays out the same way, you know what I'm saying?
Alright, so you're saying how we just kill him, so the scene is just like he appears with a random gun. It's like, how would you kill him? I don't know, I thought that'd be funny. So he just appears with a random gun. And he's like, where did you get that from? I don't know. And he accidentally shoots him. Shoots him.
No. I'm talking about like the holding out the window scene. You know what I'm saying? Like we can do that. At that point.
So you're saying that you want him to hold out an adult out the window?
Yeah, I mean, like these guys can be a bit stronger than the average human. Fuck it, why not?
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I was just making sure because I was a little confused at what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah.
So you want to? Okay, I think that'd be either way to me. Hang out the person's like, oh, we just killed it. Yeah. All right. You know what? We should have the kid hanging out the window. Shut up. We should have the kid hang out the window. But the funny thing, add the funny, when he has the gun. And he's like, oh, I mean, what would we just kill him? We don't need him. And then he says that again, and I don't know. Just something. So, moving on. You understand that. How's your thoughts on how's your thoughts on not finding a kid?
So you're saying not finding the kid, bringing the drunk adult, and then let's say like they accidentally make him a kid with a gun, right?
Yes.
And then they hang him out the window because like, I mean, we can't bring a kid back.
And then Phil starts getting that emotional attachment somehow. I don't know. Because I do like the idea of the trio.
Either way, man, if it starts off as a kid, if it starts off as an adult, or if it's like a combination of both, starts off as an adult, midway, kid, I don't know, man. It works because I can see it all happening the same way.
Yeah. So I got really in depth this one. This one's pretty big. I said, an episode where Keegan tries to make Phil smart and give him advice by going back in time, or Keegan goes back in time and find out why Phil doesn't care and is so naive, comes to the conclusion that no matter what he says or do to Phil will always be better.
No.
What happened?
No, I'm just thinking of this episode, like he tries to go back in time and tries to make him smarter, but like every time, like a day later, something terrible happens, like gives him instant brain damage, and he just can't get smart anymore.
It's crazy that you said that because I literally wrote that. I literally wrote where no matter what you do in the past, it's not going to change the future. Let's say you go back in time to stop Hitler or 9/11 or something.
Right.
All right. And it's like, all right, I go back in time, I go on the plane. And it's like, okay, I know what's going to happen. Let me stop it. When you stopped it and you go back to the present, you're like, yo, I did something good. 9/11 didn't happen. Next thing you know, you look up what happened. You looked up something else that happened on 9/11 or 9/12, whatever, the next day. And it turns out that, I don't know, terrorist people got mad that you stopped it and then sent out an even bigger attack or just blew up the country or something. I don't know. So no matter what you do, it's always going to end up as a bad outcome.
So now, I kind of like that more than how I like people going back into the past to change the future and all that. Like, yeah. Like, I like the thinking that no matter what, the present has to be the present, so something has to happen instead to make it the present.
Yeah. Now, this is the time I want to ask you, because it's the perfect time. How do you feel about time travel?
I like it in more of a comedy fashion. I like time travel more of comedy. Like, I like separate dimensions time travel when it's being used for more comedic purposes. Not that it can't be used in action. It can be used really well in action. Like, let's say you go back to dinosaur times, your time thing breaks, and you're like, oh shit, now I gotta survive. You know, type shit, right? Like, so using it in action can work, but I usually just fuck with it more when it's just like, haha, look, there's another version of you. Ha ha ha.
That's interesting. But let's go say, either way, I just wanted your thoughts on it.
Well, my thoughts are don't care, L plus ratio.
You're nasty. On this topic as well, do you know the three theories of time travel? Like, story-wise and just in general, you ever heard that?
I have heard that there were three theories for time travel. I don't know them at the top of my head. But yeah, I know about the theory the speed of light, how time seems to travel faster. We are moving at the speed of light. Yeah, I know about that. So technically you time travel with that.
I wanted to add, but yeah, this is where the sci-fi comes in. I want to add now mind-blowing things where people are watching this and they are intrigued, they're interested. All right, they're like, yo, this show is crazy. They recommend a friend, yo, this show, this gives you a brain damage. I don't know. So the first thing I want to say was, so there's the a fixed timeline, a dynamic timeline, and a multiverse. So the first one is even when parties travel back in time, the future they left cannot be changed. All events remain as fixed points in time. The actions of the traveler in the past have already become part of history. This is known as the self-consistency principle. For example, say you travel back in time in order to kill Hitler as a kid, in order to prevent World War II. You replace him with an orphan baby, so that the family will not notice. You travel back in the future and replace baby grows up to become Hitler himself. So that's the thing I said about to you just now, how you like the idea of time travel not affecting anything in the present. Because you've done this. It's like you replace, like I said, you replace Hitler or something. No matter what you do, that baby is going to become Hitler. Okay, you kill the baby then. How about you kill Hitler as a kid then? Well, it doesn't matter because a new Hitler is going to replace him. For example, because something happened in that kid's life. I don't know. So then the second one is the dynamic timeline. In a dynamic one, altered events in the past have defined impacts on the present. For example, if you went back in time and killed your grandfather, you'll also prevent your own birth, and you eventually trip back in time. In turn, your grandfather is never killed, and you go born again, only to go back in time and kill your grandfather. Now that's the grandfather paradox, because obviously that doesn't make sense. How can you go back in time, kill your grandfather, but you can't do that if the consequences of killing grandfather means that your dad will not be born, thus making you not born, but that wouldn't make any sense because how can you kill your grandfather if you're not born? So, that's the paradox.
You are born in a separate body.
Maybe. But these things are pretty cool that I want to put in the show. The last one would be the multiverse. The concept of a multiverse supports alternative timelines. In an infinite number of parallel universes, traveling to the past causes a new overgent timeline from the first. Because of this, the traveler can do anything with the impact. And only a new timeline will be affected. For example, if you travel back in time and kill all your grandparents, nothing happens. There's no paradox. You have simply created a new timeline in which you will not exist. But the original timeline is unaffected. However, you cannot return to your original timeline. So, those are the three things. I like all three of them. Those can play a part of something. Maybe you have to stick to one to make the show make sense. I don't know, but that's the thoughts of the
Or
time travel
maybe
thing.
that can be something like he goes back in time, tries to make Keegan smart. He comes back to his timeline, right?
You mean
present.
Phil?
Yeah, you know what I mean, Keegan, right?
Oh wait,
He try-
who make Keegan smart?
No, make Keegan tries to make Phil smart. Like that idea.
Okay.
He goes in the past, tries to teach him basic language. It seems like it's working. He comes to the present timeline, right? And Phil's just the same Phil.
Mhm.
And he didn't fully understand time travel because in actuality he just made a separate timeline.
Yes.
Where Phil is smart.
And he goes to he goes back to his original one. He's like, why isn't it happening? But he doesn't understand that he just went to a different linear place. Whatever. He just went to a different one.
And then like you know how like there's end credit scenes in like Marvel movies, like there'll be an end credit scene with like Phil's like this genius scientist making crazy inventions.
I think. Not into that.
Well, end credit scenes like after the credits, like random scenes. They do the tease other stuff.
Credits.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So like there'll be like this crazy after credits with Phil like making crazy inventions, being a crazy scientist, and like people will be like, wait, what the fuck? What's going on? I don't remember. How is he doing this? Is he really smart? And then they'll start, and then like the theorists will go crazy, like, oh, is this Phil from that timeline in a multi? And they'll be like, and we won't say anything.
Actually, you know what? Holy crap, that is a great idea. I didn't even think of the fact that that we can persuade or tease audiences to where they use their theories. So then that's only promoting our stuff.
And maybe that can be like a second thing, right? Like a second timeline, right? That's the multiverse timeline. And like it's slowly but surely, Phil of that universe comes to like a realization that he can interact with other timelines. And so let's say he jumps to the present timeline, the one where Keegan is the smart one and Phil's the dumb one. And like he can interact with that Phil. And maybe that can be like part of like the grand finale or something. And at the end credits, we tease it more and more. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool. I'm gonna write that down.
I got a big brain. What can I say? I got a big brain and a bigger
Shut up. Are we gonna be doing this a lot? The reason why I say it because so like I said, you're saying alternate Phil. So are these situations? Are we gonna see different timelines of people, or this is just a specific episode, or a specific thing?
It's one episode like let's say like we'll pick random end credit scenes. Like let's say once every like 10 episodes we'll show like this alternate version of Phil
Okay.
and his journey in learning how to access different timelines. You know what I'm saying? So like people will catch on like there's a story going on here, but like every other end credits will just be like a teaser for the next episode or something.
And
If
they
we
have
do them,
to they
if
have
we
to
do
connect.
them,
Yeah, they have to connect one and one.
yeah.
By the way, if Phil becomes smart, okay? If Phil becomes smart, that's going to be a second Phil, and we're going to call him Philip.
Philip,
So,
more like a Philip.
you're sus. The reason why I say that is because I want people to theorize. Oh my god, is Philip better? Is Philip smarter than Keegan? You know what I mean? Like, crap
Yeah.
like that. To keep, things going. So,
Or they'll be like Philip versus Keegan death battle.
yeah, who would win? All right, so then there's another random one. Phil makes a great idea to make a human disguise.
A human disguise.
I don't know. He just has a random idea to make a human disguise, and he looks retarded.
No, bro.
And
Because that reminds me of a certain serial killer for some reason.
oh, Leatherface, where he wears people. So I know.
No, it's like a fucking actual real Leatherface is based off a real serial killer.
Don't know who. I don't really watch Chainsaw Massacre.
His name is Ed
Chainsaw.
Gein. I'll give you that. His name is Ed
Oh.
Gein.
Oh, Bubba. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, sure. Basically, he would. Oh, I'm not gonna get into details because I don't want to, I don't want to get really too in.
Shut up. I have one last final one, but it's broken into 5 pieces. But like I said, the beginning of my ideas was about character development. I think characteristics or anything, scenes, maybe random events. But then as it went on, I got into mind-blowing things and what we can attract and the audience we attract and how we make our things more interesting, where people are like, yo, I want to see the next episode. You know what I mean? So I wanted to have specific parts where Phil actually has a thing where we make like a little inside joke, but Phil has brain power, but he doesn't use it.
For the
He
right
has
purposes. I want to say like for the right purposes.
Yeah, so I want to have some crazy
like Phil just for some reason has unspoken riz.
Huh? No.
Phil has immaculate riz.
But yeah.
Every girl in human existence. And that's something he has to. And like, yeah, there's an episode where he has to teach that to Keegan. Yeah, that's one of my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
There's an episode where he has to teach, like, Keegan's like, oh my god, that girl's so hot. And so, like Phil's like trying to teach him how to talk to girls and shit. I have the whole. No, I'm not gonna spoil it anymore. I have that whole idea written down. Never mind.
That's cool. I want to create the first episode comic wise. So whatever how long the comic may be or whatever, I want to create the first episode, then bam, we got that done. Just write it down, or draw it down, I should say, illustrate it, whatever. So the first thing I said was this. I heard some things from people, and they just told me some interesting beliefs, their beliefs. So instead of believing like a god or something, or higher power, or whatever, this is what they believe. So they have the five laws of the universe. And the first one is one is the all and one is the all. The one is the all and all is the one. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I would like Phil to have these random occurrences. You know what? What if Phil's actually the smartest person ever, but something happened and he has like deja vu or something like that, and this is like his crazy character development. I don't know.
Yes, he has like two. He's like a split personality. He has two personalities.
That'd be pretty cool. But so one is the all is the one, meaning like, you are connected to everything. Everything that around you is you. The way you live your life, that's what's gonna come to you. So, just crap like that. I don't know. We can get more in depth of that another time. So it says, what you put out is what you get, or what you put in. What you put out is what you get. I don't know. So that's just basically karma. If you do something bad, that thing's gonna go right back to you. If you lie, that lie is gonna come right back to you. So then the third one is there's only here and now, and that's the only place that exists. So let's say you ordered a package, right? Oh crap! It takes 5 days to deliver. Well, if you take out the variable time, then technically you have the package now. You know what I mean? The only thing you're waiting for is the package. If you exclude waiting, you'll get the package in a millisecond. The fourth thing is, everything changes except for the first 4 laws. So everything changes. People change, you change, the world changes, except the first 4 things I said. And the last one is if you exist and if you exist, you've always existed, and you can't think of something that doesn't exist. So, not literally. Like if I exist, if I think of, I don't know, a tree that's purple, I can draw a tree that's purple, and bam, it existed. But you can't really necessarily think of something that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like having one thought in your head, and then you can't have another thought in your head at the same time if it's irrelevant to you. Like if you don't do drugs, you're not going to think about drugs.
Right.
That's not going to be on your mind.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But those are the 5 things. Now, the reason why I say it is because, like I said, I want more of the science fiction into it. Doesn't have to be religion. Doesn't have to be anything else. Doesn't have to be a person's beliefs. Doesn't have to be what you believe in, what I believe in. Doesn't matter. Just cool things. Wait, did I say intrusive thoughts to you just now? Did I tell you the idea?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, I had an idea. I had an episode where your intrusive thoughts become real. So like, I don't know, they enter a, I don't know.
Bro, that could get so bad.
Yeah, so Keegan's intrusive thoughts would become real to Phil or something, or I don't know. This is something that I think nobody really thought of, so I thought that would be pretty cool.
Like, let's say Keegan gets cursed on a mission, and like every time he has this intrusive thought, like man, sometimes I just want to punch Phil. He just punches Phil, and
like
Phil's
out of nowhere, it's like, huh? I didn't actually mean to do it. I have a perfect idea. How to get rid of curses. And he just goes to like some random website and he's like, alright, Keegan, it says to do this and says to do that. Alright, I'm gonna do it real quick. And it's just and it just hurts Keegan so bad. I don't know. It's just like, just pour burning hot water on someone for 5 seconds. This will kill and burn the evil spirits around him or something. And this is just his plan to like hurt Keegan, but he actually doesn't realize that it actually works in the end. I don't know. But yeah, so and finishing that, I said when I was saying the time travel thing, there was 2 things I was thinking of. Phil has always been Phil, and he's always been the way he is, and Keegan will always be the way he is, no matter how you change the past.
Right.
Or the second thing is, one of them changes the past, right? One of them changes the past, but they don't like the outcome. A lot of people would be like, yo, I changed the past, I regretted something, let me change that. A lot of people would be like, alright, I changed something, have the outcome be good. But, for example, so I said where Keegan goes out and, I don't know, figures out why Phil's so stupid, or he doesn't care about the mission that he's on. He goes back in time, fixes up situation, whatever, makes him be serious about it, and now Phil has become Philip, where he's actually better than Keegan and everything. He's much smarter, whatever. But Keegan doesn't like that, and he tries to change the past.
Wait.
So I said Phil will always be better than Keegan. So Keegan, being an egotistical and serious person, doesn't like anyone being better than him in his group. He then goes back in time to make his past self not feel bad about people being better than him. So this is more in depth of the time travel. So Keegan goes back in time. Keegan goes back in time to make his past self not feel bad about people being better than him, and not be egotistical to where he can actually work with Philip. So he then goes back in time to make his past self not feel bad about people being better than him and being more of a peaceful, non-grudge, non-egotistical character, only to realize that that will never happen because of his character and how he is. No matter what, he cannot change his past, but he can change other people's past. You know what I mean?
Or what he, or you know, some crazy or some funny realization could be like he goes back to change that, but little does he realize that if he changes it, then it won't matter anymore because not he's already changed.
And it's crazy because like that's like the grandfather paradox. It says only through life that okay. Theme of the story is the show and represent the past won't fix anything in the future, no matter how many times people believe that they will have regrets and they would want to change the past. The outcome will never be better. Then I said continue another part or so, adding humanity. Okay, so I put just humanity repeats itself and you live the same life in a cycle forever. Like just you can't change it, no matter what. You've done what you've done.
Don't drop that dun. Yeah, I feel you.
You're nasty.
Well, I was gonna get into episode 2, but it's been 57 minutes. I usually
it's been a while.
All right, so I'm gonna just get into my ideas that I had, and we can handle that business. So I did have an idea where, actually, I will talk about that second episode because it's really fast. I didn't do too much about it.
Okay.
In episode 2, here's what I wrote down. I said it'll probably open up with the scene where Phil reveals the namesake of the show. So he calls Keegan a Bozoid.
Yeah, I like that.
And then like, you know, the flashback scene where he goes on the crazy journey, a bunch of math theories, blah blah blah. And so the main plot of this second episode is going to be like, so Phil and Keegan, like, they're on their off day, they're not really paying attention to the kid, so they're just doing stuff. Let's say they leave the door unlocked, the kid somehow escapes, right? Goes out into the public. Luckily, the kid, let's say, finds a mask that he just thinks is cool, and literally that's what's saving his life right now. And so now Phil and Keegan have to go out, try to find this kid before he gets himself murdered.
Now my question is where is he? Is he outside? Is he traveling in a town? Is he in space? Is he in a whole different
city?
Planet?
And like the planet, like the whatever the fuck you called it.
Oh, Sisaloid?
Yeah. So like he's in there and he's like in like a big city and like he's just walking around. We're
on that planet? We're on the alien planet now?
Yeah, like they take him back to the planet and they have to keep him because, you know, they can't have a kid. Blah blah blah. And so he's going around with this alien mask and like walks around, like let's say like sometime in the middle of the show they find like him in a bar with a bunch of random dudes.
I was gonna be like,
and they're all drunk.
Actually, no, that's a crazy thought. And they have to. That's like a cool fighting scene. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. But go on.
But yeah, they find them in the bar. Maybe there's a fighting scene, or maybe they'll be like, "Nah, this is one of the boys now. We're taking him home with us," and they just take him home. And now they have to go chase him down, do some stealth missions to get the kid back.
That's a better idea. I like that. Like you have these big buff guys, and they look out. They look at him like, oh shoot, what has he got himself into? And he's talking to Phil, and he's like, dang, what are we gonna do? I guess we got to fight some people, this and that. I don't know. So then they go up to him like, excuse me, do you know this guy? Goes up to one of the bar guys that the kid is hanging with. He's like, you know this guy? And he's like, yeah, this is one of the homies. This is my boy right here. We're about to head out, this and that. And they actually don't have to fight. And then, like you said, they have to sneak and try and get him back without them realizing. Because it's gonna be like 8-2.
Yeah, and then like let's say there's a chase scene where they have to get away from all of them. So like they're like maybe a car or a bike chasing, like they're all like
the biker gang.
Yeah, and basically so they can beat him without fist fighting. You know, maybe that's Keegan's big brain plan. Like, hey, we can beat him without fist fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the second episode. General plot idea I had. And yeah, that's all I had for it so far. Now I do have another episode idea that's gonna be sometime later on. I have no idea when, because it's a fucking much further away episode. So the plot of it goes like this. So it's the idea, like, you know, I think I teased this before. Like, Keegan, let's say, meets a girl. He really likes her, but he has no game.
Yeah.
Zero game.
Yeah. What is something that Keegan would say?
Girl, are your dimensions 32D? Cause you have some fat tits.
No, bro. He'll say the most like out of pocket stuff ever. Like, just like to the point where like people are getting secondhand embarrassment. I like that. You get more feelings into the show. You're like, whoa, what is this bozo doing?
Yeah, and then Phil, you know, has to teach him how to spit game, because Phil, that's one part of his brain that is working, how to spit game. And so he's basically telling Keegan, like, yo, hear me out. And he just teaches him how he goes. Like, maybe he takes him around and he walks around with Phil, and like he watches Phil like instantly get damn near every single woman. And he's like,
yo, no. The first thing should be is like he's talking to Keegan, like, you know, here's the thing. And he gives out the most graphical knowledge ever. And he's like, you see that girl right there? You know, 5'4", brunette. Actually, you can tell it's a brunette, even though her hair just got dyed. She has mental problems.
Yeah, he just knows everything about her just from a glance.
You see her hand right there? No ring. Oh, you see that bruise right there? She actually just had a abusive relationship. You'll never know. Oh, and that one right there, Ebony. Yeah.
Sherlock looking ass.
Yeah, and he has like the most like graphical knowledge ever. And he's like, oh yeah, that one right there, tattoo, looks a little old, probably about 23 though. Definitely smokes and does hard drugs. That's an easy one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one you can catch easily.
Half naked, and he just like goes on. He's like, whew, wow, this guy just knows his woman.
But like, let's say Phil looks at the girl that Keegan's trying to get with, and he notices like there's some I wouldn't trust her. There's something wrong with her.
I see exactly where this is going.
But Keegan's like, no, bro, teach me how to game, bro. I'm mad.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, you know, he says, all right, whatever, I'll teach you how to game. Or like he cannot see the girl at all. He just teaches him how to game anyway. So Keegan goes to get the girl, blah blah blah. It actually works out. Then let's say the girl's like, let's bring it to your place, right? And like, let's say Phil's like out somewhere doing some random bullshit, because you know Phil does random bullshit with the kid all the time. He likes doing that.
Sus.
Wow. Anyway, Keegan takes the girl back to his apartment. You know, like, let's say they Netflix and chill. Keegan falls asleep. Let's say the girl puts sleeping pills in his drink without him noticing. Man falls asleep, and she steals his shit. Steals half his shit. So now now he's calling Phil like, oh, Phil, bro, this chick stole my shit. And if Phil knows the girl, he'd be like, nigga, I told you so. You dumbass mother. And
okay.
And so now Phil has to come back home with the kid, and Phil, you know, with his expertise, knowledge on women, knows exactly where she would probably go, because, you know, he just knows a woman like that. He's just built that way. You catch my drift?
That's cool. I guess that can explain a little bit how he's not so serious with things. He just likes to do what he likes to do.
And then they go find it. They found out it's like a crime gang, you know, and so they go to get their shit back. They blow shit up, kill people. Bow, 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 bow. All right.
Where's the action scene?
Yep.
Okay.
And then like, you know that scene where like the girl that betrayed the main character is like, wait, I actually still like you a lot.
Cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah, and so both Phil and Keegan look at each other. They look back at the girl like, nah, nah. And let's say they just
Chad music plays.
Yeah.
Right, stop.
Yeah, and let's say they just leave her tied up in like the burning building. She has to get out herself, and then she could be a reoccurring character, maybe. And maybe what she said, she actually meant it, and she could actually be trying to make it up to Keegan like the whole series.
Maybe.
Could be a reoccurring character. Oh, maybe.
Anything else you got?
Unfortunately, those are the only two things I have.
One thing I will say about that is I only care about the first episode, like the confirmed first episode where I will draw like just a little comic that I would do.
Okay, so confirmed first episode. All right, let's keep this at an hour and 30 minutes. So we have like 22 minutes, and we can figure out the confirmed first episode if you want.
So you want to right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the script, the subscript, the cast, and how it will look. So what I mean is,